Hey everybody! So this season of Teen Wolf has finally gained ground and gotten really great. Let's talk about episode 16 of season 5, Liability. This episode starts off as a continuation of the last episode. So we are shown Parrish going all hellhound on Theo and his pack and almost killing Corey. When all this is going down, Valak runs off with Lydia and continues his experiments on her. And Stiles is pretty much freaking out at this point. When Theo is challenged in this big fight by Parrish, he eventually realizes he's gonna lose or die, and then stabs Parrish, and Parrish passes out. And yeah, because that totally worked. Let's talk about Scott in this episode. He and Liam are still trying to get past the mountain ash to go and help save Lydia, and Scott gets the idea to go ask Meredith for her help. Well, Meredith is unresponsive, but she is aware enough to grab Scott's hand and basically tell him to put his claws in her neck so he can speak with her and find out how to help Lydia or who can help them get to Lydia. And what they found out is that they need the Hellhound. They need Parrish. They need him to help them get to Lydia. So Stiles in this episode goes after Valak, and Theo decides to help him whether Stiles really wants his help or not because he has ulterior motives. Now it's time to talk about Lydia in this episode. Her powers are consuming her, and if something can't be done to help her, she's going to die and kill a lot of people along with her. Another thing that we find out with Lydia is that Valak is actually using her to figure out who the beast is. Basically, when her powers are at the point of killing her, she should be able to name the beast. The way that Valak plans to finally get this name out of Lydia is to put that Dread Doctor mask on her and get it to come out of her. Somehow that's supposed to help her say the name or know the name or what have you. But Stiles is coming along, and when Lydia hears Stiles outside yelling for her, she screams and it makes Valak's head explode. Take that, Valak. When Stiles finally gets in there, he tells Lydia to shut up and let him save her life. And as they're running and trying to get to safety, her powers get worse and worse. And at one point when Scott and Liam show up with Parrish in Hellhound form buffers Lydia's scream so that she doesn't kill everybody in the building. While all this is going down with Scott, Stiles, Lydia, and Liam, Kira is trying to get a hold of her powers, and when she passes out, Malia starts freaking out because she doesn't know how to help her. But then one of the other chimeras shows up with Corey and says that if she will help Corey heal, he will help Kira heal or get her powers under control because he's the chimera that has the kitsune abilities. So Malia takes Corey's pain, he heals, Kira's powers get under control, and things are all fine and dandy. But first they gotta get out of that building. And that is up to Mason, and apparently Hayden too. But first, let's talk about Liam in this episode. This was a really great episode for Liam. One thing we are shown with him is a flashback scene of him and Hayden having sex and him trying to talk her into joining Scott's pack because he's gonna get killed when he tries to take on that beast. He also finally, I think, proves himself to Scott and has earned Scott's forgiveness by protecting Scott from a bunch of security guards while he was speaking with Meredith via Alpha Claws. Now on to Hayden in this episode. Deucalion is really messing with her head and making her question her allegiance to Theo. And I found it hilarious when she finally got fed up with him and paralyzed him with Tracy's Canema venom. After that, she runs off to Eichenhaus to help the pack, jumps over a wall that Mason can't get over, and then they figure out how to get the gate open for the pack to get out. At the end of this episode, we see Theo taking that Dread Doctor mask, and a very intriguing scene between him and Deucalion, which I cannot wait to see more Deucalion scenes. Can we just get rid of Theo and just have a ton of Deucalion scenes? Because Deucalion's awesome. One really cool thing that I have to mention from this episode is when Natalie Martin gets all badass and shocks Tracy when she is trying to take Lydia. It's It's good stuff. I love Lydia's mom. She is awesome, and we see where Lydia gets a lot of her strength from there. Another thing that I thought was so awesome in this episode was the fact that we learned that a hellhound can burn away mountain ash. Where have the hellhounds been all these seasons when the pack has needed them? Things are gonna get a lot easier now for the pack now that they got a hellhound on their side. Or do they? Can they get the actual hellhound on their side and not just perish? Finally, at the end of the episode, when they are trying to save Lydia and Deaton is trying to help her, we see him take some mistletoe and squirt it into her head, and it actually saves her. But before he is able to do that, all the windows are shattering. Stiles, his ears are bleeding. They started bleeding in the car when he was trying to save Lydia, and Scott had to speed off to Deaton's. And when she is finally healed or partially healed, I don't know if she's fully healed yet or what, but for a good solid, I don't know, 30 seconds, I was on the verge of tears while watching this because she wasn't waking up. And Stiles was freaking out. I was freaking out. And I'm sure a lot of you were freaking out as well. And then she woke up and she looked at Stiles and she looked over at her mom. And when her mother was embracing her, she looked towards Stiles and said, "Stiles saved me." I feel like this was a really important scene. And even though she's seen who Stiles is as a person, I feel like she now fully sees Stiles and who he is, and maybe Stydia is gonna happen. I hope so. I'm still hoping. I'm still hoping for that. Malia and Stiles are done, and I don't know if Lydia and Parrish are really gonna be a thing or what, but after this episode, I just feel so much better about this season of Teen Wolf, and I feel like season 5A was worth all the pain that we were put through. I still hate Theo though and want him gone, but now I understand that he was a very necessary evil, and the pack seems stronger than ever. All in all, I really loved this episode, and I cannot wait for next week's episode. I hope y'all enjoyed this recap and review. Continue to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.